When you're ready, bro.
Okay. Hello everybody, it's a beautiful Friday here in Birmingham. We're in Kings Norton with my boy Az, and today we're going to drop some fire in the booth for you.
Okay.
You know, we're going to talk about some topics that is on everyone's mind, day-to-day stuff, you know, affecting the community, affecting families, and maybe the solutions and experiences, and hope you guys back home can kind of feel this, you know, and maybe this can kind of help you on your journey. So today I wanted to start off with addiction. It's very, very close to my heart. It's something that I believe is a big problem in the world right now. Okay. And I've obviously suffered with addiction myself, and a lot of people in my family, I have a lot of friends in my community have, and we've lost a few on the way, you know. So I think it's a worthwhile topic to talk about. Yeah, man.
Yeah, man. So you said that you struggle with addiction. What addictions do you have?
So I think always a kind of like an obsessive, compulsive thing, even when I was a kid.
Okay.
So like for example, I was a footballer, weren't I? And I reckon one of the reasons why I was a pro footballer was because even from the age of 6, you just couldn't get me off of football. I'd like stay till 11 p.m. at night till my mum brought me in. Yeah, so I had an addictive personality then. So when I talk about addiction, I ain't just saying like addiction is bad and negative. I'm saying like some of the best people in the world, the best performance are in essence addicts, you know, but they're doing it for the right. Yeah, Ronaldo, you know, Mayweather, they're fully addicted in that, do you know what I mean? But they're doing it in the right way, and they're doing it in a healthy way in that. So it's kind of a double-edged sword.
What are they addicted to though?
So I mean,
are they addicted to actually playing football? Are they addicted to the, I don't want to say trappings, but the things that come with it? Is it the godlike factor? You know, you're an athlete, you're the best of the best of the best, or is it I love playing football?
I think the very, very, very top, I think it's for the love of the game. I think that's how they can keep turning up year after year after year and still doing it. So it's an infatuation, a complete romance with the game. Then there's obviously you're probably lower players, which I think it is probably an obsession and an addiction with maybe the fame, maybe the status, maybe the power that comes with being an elite level performer. But definitely I think your Ronaldos, your Messis, your LeBron Jameses, your people like that, I think it's definitely through love of the game. And then they're in a league of their own. They're almost setting their own standards, you know, so they're addicted to beating their own standards. It's like there's no top, only the top that they make for themselves, you know. So I really admire them guys. Mayweather as well. I mean, like some of his training regimes, he's up at like 2 a.m. in the morning running around Vegas, and he's got car convoys and everything. And
he's always ready. He's always training. I suppose when you look at addiction, because there are things that make us addicted to certain things, you know, and I don't mean that in terms of drugs. I mean in the terms of the way we live in society.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I think I would say it's like tradition, isn't it? Tradition. It's not quite the same thing. What is the actual meaning of addiction? Like, what if you looked it up in a dictionary?
I think it's basically something like an obsessive compulsive.
Yeah, when you're obsessed with something.
Yeah, and like and probably you do it more frequently than what you'd probably like a lot of the time. And I don't know, have a little look on the Google. Literally, Google's changed my life, man. We're such a lucky generation to have it.
They're not using something, especially something harmful. An inability to stop doing or using something, especially something harmful.
Okay, so maybe with Mayweather, Ronaldo and that, it's not so much that. Although I do think if you stopped them doing it, I think they'd lose their mind.
Does an addiction have to have like a physiological effect when you stop? So you
have withdrawal symptoms.
Yes.
So I would say, yeah, I'd say when you're addicted, it's almost like in your own psyche, you lose a piece of what you think is yourself, or a comfort blanket or a crutch or something that kind of helps you navigate through the world. So that's how I feel in my own journey, is like I used probably through traumas in my life, I started, as you progress through the ages, from like 14, 16, you find these little boosters that kind of fill this dark void inside yourself, and they almost like plaster up the wounds, you know? And it's great for a period of time. But then after like the years start to carry on, it starts to turn on you. And it starts to be a detriment to you, do you know what I mean? And that's kind of like what I learned. So for me, like with alcohol, I think it came from girls, believe it or not. Like when I was like 12 years old, I was quite nervous, quite shy. Didn't have the courage to speak to girls down the park. Got a little bit of beer in me, bro. I thought I was Casanova, do you know what I mean? And it just flowed, and I started like speaking to girls, and like I did all right, you know what I mean? So it kind of like, it started from there, and then you carry on with that, but really you're carrying on with a fake character. You've never really healed that part of yourself that's shy from the get-go.
Okay. Yeah.
So then like it carried on as I got older and that, and like I started using it for more things, you know, like social situations, like big parties, or going into like big busy boozers, and it just kind of became like a crutch, you know. And also like with the cigarettes as well, like that was always another one. It just kind of like balanced me out and kind of gave me something to do and focus on in them situations and that. Rather than just be completely like naked and be myself, do you know what I mean? So
it's like it helps you create an alter ego.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, so, and I get that, I mean, because essentially I think most people drink alcohol to let go of their inhibitions. So, you know, like usually if they're scared or something, you go out to drink because it's escapism, and
Yeah, 1 billion.
You're escaping from yourself for the weekend. Friday night, you want to escape the fact that you do a 9 to 5, that you fucking hate your husband at home, or,
yeah.
you know what I mean, your little kids are shit, you know what I mean? Like, you know, oh mate, get me in the pub, just for a few hours.
Yeah.
But that can spill over, innit?
Yeah.
So you start to trick yourself into thinking, I'm the geezer who I am when I'm in the pub. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm not in my home, I'm in my yeah. So that's really like,
I'm the loud one at the pub speaking to everyone, like chirps in the lap. And then literally you find them on a Monday and they won't say boo to a goose.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Definitely.
And that's and then that becomes a really dangerous kind of thing, because like, if obviously you're a really shy person and you're a really loud person when you drink, I mean that's two completely contrasting characters.
Yeah.
And like you can build a life on the really loud, drinky one, and like then it's kind of like if it does get out of control, you've like literally got to lose all your mates, all your kind of your experiences and everything like that. Not your experience, but all your kind of your clique to kind of like
I think with addiction's a weird one, because when do we know we're addicted, or do addicted people know they're addicted, or they're lying to themselves, or do you think?
Well, I think what happens. They say like in AA, don't they? They say that first it takes your money. Then it takes the people that you care about, then it takes your health, then it takes your life. Do you know what I mean? Or it takes your house or something. It's like there's a stage that it goes through.
Okay, yeah.
And literally, if you look at AA, it's like almost like you're dropping down the snakes of the snakes and ladders game. You're dropping down the snakes. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's kind of like there's kind of checkpoints as to like how bad it's getting. So in the end, you end up homeless, or you end up like
dead. Have you done it? AA?
What?
Have you done AA?
I've been to AA a few times, yeah. I went there, God, when did I go there now? About 3 years ago, one in Birmingham. I went there for about 6 weeks after my dad died and that, because he died of alcoholism. And obviously I wanted to like sort of show up for my mum, so for like 6 weeks I got my head down and went there, because I just wanted it to be like a calm, peaceful situation, like for my old dear.
Yeah.
And it was really eye-opening there. I mean, I was the youngest one there. Most of the people, they get to 40, 50 and literally they can't deny it anymore, and they've pretty much ruined their health, and they've kind of like messed up a lot of their life and that, and then they go there. And for me, obviously seeing my pops and that, I kind of seen the iceberg ahead way before that would ever happen to that.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm really big on giving awareness to the youth now, that like, just know if you have got addictive tendencies, if you do like a bevy, if you are drinking a little bit more than you should, if you're not remembering your nights, if you're getting bumps and bruises and you're losing things all the time, then just trust me, it's a progressive disease. It gets worse, it don't get better. You don't just magically hit 50 and it stops. You go worse.
You spoke a bit about your dad before. I mean, what was that like for you? Seeing that, you said that you've just made it helped you be more aware of your own behaviours.
Yeah.
So
it was almost like a shining light for me to kind of see it before I probably would have in a normal context, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, growing up with him, he weren't a violent geezer. He was getting, when he weren't on the drink, mate. He literally was an angel. He was nothing but gold, you know.
Yeah.
But once he like obviously hit the source and that, he used to be quite like argumentative.
Yes.
You know what I mean? He'd always want you to sit with him, and if you wouldn't sit with him, he'd start laying into you. Do you know what I mean? And that obviously caused a bit of friction in the household, and that. And it was kind of like one of them ones you wanted to dodge when he was drinking. So it weren't really a great vibe in the house.
But with your old man, not like the vibe in the house, was AA there? Like, did he attempt it?
So with him, it was a really strange one. So my mum ended up taking him to rehab, when he was in his 50s. But I mean, he was forced to go. He weren't doing this off his own accord. Nah.
Well, why then? I don't know. Bro.
Yeah. For me, if you're forced into it, I mean, sometimes you have to have an intervention because literally the person's going to kill himself or they're going to literally do something crazy, you know.
Yeah,
but it's definitely more powerful when you want to do it, you know, rather than being forced into it. I think being forced into it is kind of like almost, well, I'm going to lose all my friends and family. I'm going to lose everything I hold dear, so I'm going to have to go. But then there's always, you're not really doing it for yourself. And for me to kind of stay abstinent or to kind of like really kind of evolve away from that, you need to want to do it for yourself.
Yeah.
And the really, really sad thing about the whole thing, and I had a chat with Mum the other day about it, like, because my mum we always like tend to slam him a lot, do you know what I mean? Which is really bad because for me, I realised that he was just a tortured soul. And the thing was, yeah, bro, this is what I believe. A lot of addiction, yeah, right, you don't feel deserving of the great things in life. You don't feel deserving of 100% health. You don't feel deserving of pure love, you know, self-love. Do you know what I mean? So you're destroying yourself, and that's the really sad thing about it.
I 100% agree. I mean, I don't think I've ever been... I'm saying that. I don't think I've been like clinically addicted to anything. But you know, when we was growing up, you know, we'd be partying, we'd be, taking recreational drugs, you know, drinking a lot. And it got to a point where it literally was every day.
Yeah.
So I mean, like, seriously, there was literally a point towards the end where I looked and I thought, I'm drinking or taking drugs or doing something every single day. I always knew when I was going through that phase, I was going through something.
Yeah.
And like you said, with an intervention, I remember once my mum coming to get me. I was on a moody session, 3-day.
Oh.
And this was at time when I was at uni, I wanted to be a doctor, everything. I was at one of our mutual friends.
Yeah. I think I know who he is.
Yeah. And it's gone, boom, the doors just flew open.
Oh, wow.
My old days come.
Mum is having you, bro.
Bro, literally, come get that out of there now. What you doing? I was like, big tail between the legs, dipped up. Next day, like, everyone was trying to rip me. Going, let your mum come to the session. I went, mate, you was in that room for 5 days and your mum didn't even ring you.
Yeah. My mum loves me.
Trust me, bro, I was like you said. And that was kind of the turnaround point for me, to be fair. Because I knew why I was getting wrecked, and like you said, it was because you kind of feel like, I think after my brother died, you do go through a stage of a lot of self-loathing. You don't really know what's going on in life. You don't like yourself. Could you have done something different? Could have this happened?
Yeah.
So you do hit self-destruct. So I knew when I was drinking and stuff, although I never wanted to commit suicide or die, that's never come across. I did want to destroy myself.
Yeah, it's almost like a self-harming in it, but like obviously with the substances rather than cutting yourself, etc.
Yeah.
You know?
So I can see that, and I think it's sad because I do think it is a form of mental illness. I don't, and when I say that, that doesn't give everyone the pass to go and then say, well, I'm an addict.
Yeah, it don't.
Don't give you the pass.
There's been scientific proof as well, basically, that we were kind of brought up on like hereditary genes. The science are proving now that literally with like willpower and obviously like trying to fight against it, you can recreate the direction of your sort of genes. You can literally, what's it called now? You can like re-establish them. Do you know what I mean? You can change them and that.
Okay.
So like that's really inspiring for me, and I really do believe, like, obviously, you know, I'm a very spiritual person.
Yes.
And I believe we come in here with our karmas and our dharmas. You know, we're here to wake up to our karmas, face them head on, overcome them, and then realise the dharma. The dharma being the great things, the treasure that is in the earth for you.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
it's kind of going back to the Buddhist kind of philosophy. So I believe in past lives as well, you know, and there's plenty of evidence coming around now from science where there's just like kids popping up all over the place, and they're like going and finding their dead body that's been buried like underneath like a railway track or something, do you know what I mean? And literally like, or describing someone that they used to be that died 40 years ago, and they know every single person in their family, and they're like 6 years old. So it's like they're literally doing like conferences now all around the world, literally like this past life movement, because there's so much evidence and they've like racked it all up.
Yeah, that's nuts.
So,
nuts.
Yeah, I mean, obviously it doesn't fall in line with obviously the Christian and the Muslim traditions, but sometimes I think to myself, when the church had like their kind of their business proposition, like their sales pitch,
yes,
right? It was like, if you don't come to us, you go to hell. This is your only life. Do you know what I mean? I mean, it's a great sales pitch in it. So basically, you're obviously going to go there because I'm going to go to hell otherwise. So I don't know, but for me,
well, you don't agree with that then?
I mean, I've spoke to enough people on my journey who literally say that they've seen their past life. And when I was in my eco village in Brazil, I mean, there were some people on there that were on a different vibration. You know, they were like they knew everything about your life before they met you. Do you know what I mean? They were like proper tuned in, and they totally believed in past lives. So I'm more inclined to listen to them who've literally dedicated 20 years of their life to meditation, to really going deep, to taking themselves off the grid, to living vegan lives, to literally being as pure as possible in nature and being one with it, than I am some scientist that went to a university and learned some stuff out of a book.
Oh, 100%, definitely.
You know?
I think it just depends on what you're talking about. But so like, if you brought that to like addiction, I don't know, man, addiction's a weird thing for me as well. So I know people, like I've got people in my family who are alcoholics, and their addiction was born through self-medicating.
Yeah.
So again, like what I was talking about, well, I think depending on what you're addicted to, like I smoke cigarettes and I always say I think I'm not addicted. Clearly I am, because I know how fucking stupid it is to smoke.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm paying to kill myself.
Yeah.
But yet, because I tell myself I don't smoke that much, I smoke now and again. It's alright, but just why do it then?
Yeah.
Something creeps you in and it calls you in.
Yeah, it's almost like a little mistress that says, come baby, come one more time, and that. It's crazy, man.
But I also think, like, you know, talking about addiction, if we are just talking like drugs, it's very hard to say. Like I said earlier, there was a mental illness. People get addicted to fill voids. I understand that. But when it's becoming detrimental and harmful, not only to yourself, because I don't really mind, I actually think that every human being has a choice to live how they want to live.
Yeah,
like,
it's your free consciousness.
A crack addict, if you want to be a heroin addict, I don't really mind.
Yeah.
But as long as you know what's going to happen, the consequences of your actions. But it's when it leaks out then and it's spilling into other people's lives.
Yeah, children's lives. And
ruining homes, you know what I mean? Like, people are stealing to pay for drugs, you know what I mean? Like, that's when it becomes the wider issue.
Yeah, and that's why I wanted to talk to you as well about, like, how do we kind of combat that? Because for me, the system's fucked. You know,
the system doesn't work.
It don't work. It's simple as that. It's criminalising people with mental illnesses.
Yes.
The prisons are filling up with just people who are literally just who don't love themselves enough to kind of get off it. Do you know what I mean? Which is a terrible thing. That, do you know what I mean? Like, and everyone deserves to be loved. You know. So I just think the system targets weak individuals and then criminalises them. You know.
Definitely, 100%.
So I mean, you look at like I know in Portugal, they've legalised all drugs, crack, heroin, cocaine, the whole shebang. Yeah, the whole thing. They're literally like pioneers in this new way of looking at it. And literally, mate, the statistics are frighteningly good. You know, they're literally like, there's no homeless people on the street. They've invested all the money into rehabilitation centres. You know, it's totally like, the people aren't being criminalised for it. I mean, you have to look on Google and that into like Portugal's kind of revamp of like the drug rehabilitation. Give it a little read and that and see what they're saying, because literally I know the rest of the world's watching with massive anticipation.
Yeah, that's crazy, but this wasn't done recently. This was done in 2001, bro.
Yeah.
20 years.
That's what I mean. So like literally, it's been a long recorded event, you know, and like, bro, they're 10 times better than like England and America.
Yeah, it says Portugal. Again, this is from The Guardian, so, but it says Portugal's radical drug policy is working. Why hasn't the world copied it yet? It says since it's been decriminalised in 2001, Portugal has seen dramatic drops in overdoses, HIV, and drug-related crime. So
it's exciting stuff, you know, and I mean, but why hasn't?
I didn't even know that they'd done this.
Yeah, bro.
It's not something they're going to put on the news, bro.
They're not going to put it on the news, but because for me, there's people getting their pockets filled, mate.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? There's people. It don't. Obviously, the war on drugs, the system's broke. It don't work, but there's definitely profiteers from this.
But that's the thing. There isn't really a war on drugs, is there?
No.
They like to say there's a war on drugs, but it's just the way of funneling money in it. There's always got to be a war on something.
Yeah.
So I feel like the war on drugs, drugs came here, well, depending on how much drugs you're talking about, but to please rich people, to please these, you know, policymakers. It's only through the ages that it's been able to trickle down and become more common, and now
like cocaine
every man and his dog's doing it now. But before it was a film stars.
Yeah.
I mean, that was it. Like, unless you was in the music industry or a film star, you probably never seen coke or even heroin or crack. Anything, you probably never seen it before.
Yeah.
So when crack came in, I know more than a few people that do crack. They're raw too. And I'll be like, mate, that's a bit. And it's like, someone said to me, you have to understand, you do cocaine now, but how do you know what's in cocaine? So you have to think, when they introduced crack, people just thought it was going to be like coke or pills and that. So
they didn't realise how addictive it would be.
Yeah, they didn't realise that. So now it's like, they're addicted to it. But there's a difference between seeing a crackhead who, like I said, probably does a 9 to 5 or part-time or doesn't work, and someone who's functioning. So someone who can hold down a job, you know, or has enough money so they don't ever have to rob off someone or steal off someone.
Yeah.
So there is differences, but I find that amazing what Portugal have done.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. It's like, for me, it's just
the same
about...
in Holland as well.
Yeah, they legalised the whole thing as well.
I don't think they've legalised everything, but
I don't think they've legalised coke and stuff, because I know, like, I've heard of a few guys that have been busted, like, for sort of like cocaine and stuff.
Yeah, I might just be talking about like weed-related offences, but go on, carry on, sorry.
Yeah, so just, I mean, that's what this podcast is about. It's about raising awareness, so anyone listening, if more people know what Portugal's doing, then more people, when it comes to voting time, when it comes to talking down the pub about, when someone says, it'll never change, well, it can change, it has changed in Portugal.
Yeah.
So it's just like, it's just kind of like, the whole thing is about kind of knowledge in it. So, for me, I think that the criminalisation of addicts is borderline evil, you know. I mean, Russell Brand's come out and he's like did a big thing. And he went to that, like, try to get involved with the House of Parliament and all that, like, and he just got like cold shoulder. Do you know what I mean? Because he's talking truth, mate.
Yeah.
He was an addict. He was a heroin addict. Do you know what I mean? And literally, obviously, he's abstained for like, I don't know, 10 plus years. But he's obviously got a real soft spot in his heart for him, and so have I. Obviously, coming from the background I do, and obviously with my own problems. So it's just there needs to be more empathy for addicts. For addicts, 100%.
Yeah.
The system needs to change. And
I do also think it just depends, like, because like I said, like I really do have a sympathy, and I do think you get to stages where you have to help everyone to a certain point.
Mm.
But there has to be that point, man, where you have to say, enough is enough.
Yeah, cool.
I know it's hard as an addict, but you just gotta fucking be vigilant, man.
Yeah. I mean, it is law of the jungle sometimes, you know. There is a lot of that.
I don't think they should be criminalised, though.
Nah, I don't think they should be criminalised. If you want to kill yourself on it, then you kill yourself on it. But I don't think you should be. If you're robbing, you need to go to prison.
Yeah.
But like, there needs to be more like rehabilitation, like free rehabilitation centres and stuff, you know.
Yeah.
And just like just an overall kind of more empathy towards it and trying to solve it, because it's a broken system. I mean, you only got, I just walked through Birmingham City Centre, mate, and it's just tragic, you know. You see loads of people, and they've definitely all got addiction problems, you know.
Yeah.
It's just sad, mate. So I just wanted to touch upon that today, and then I wanted to move into sort of like solutions and stuff, you know.
Yeah.
Like when we was talking about the rehab centres and all that sort of stuff, and for me, a big thing for me is meditation. I've said that since day one.
Okay.
Like, I've been doing that obviously for 2 years now. And what I believe from being an addict myself, like you said, I wanted to find escapism.
Yes.
I wanted to leave my head for a bit, you know.
Okay.
I wanted to get out of the grind. Do you know what I mean? The robotic, left brain, logical bullshit that we have to do every single day in order to function in this society.
Yeah.
I wanted to have a free mind. Do you know what I mean? So, for me, meditation, if you can grow that meditative mind, and it takes a while, it takes patience, it's not a quick fix, but I'm hitting levels now in meditation, which the Buddha calls nirvana, and basically, I'm escaping my mind, I'm leaving my mind in meditation. It's literally like, I can't explain it, mate, it's like bliss, ecstasy, joy, all just sat on my ass in a pitch black room in silence, mate. And literally I get up sometimes, I start dancing and doing all this ecstatic dance, and kind of like, I feel like I'm in like Ocean Club in Ibiza, mate, just going for it hard, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And literally, mate, it's pure, it's healthy, it's completely safe, and like, I just don't think people know that is possible in this side of the world.
Yeah.
In like the Buddhist culture, in like the Hindu culture, in India, etc., places like that, they know that anything that you can create with a drug, like an object, you can create without the drug inside yourself.
Okay.
That's the big conspiracy, mate.
Yeah.
That's why the placebo effect.
I was just about to say that.
Yeah, the sugar pill and all that. I mean, they even teach that in like universities with like medical students about the power of the placebo effect. And I'm telling you now, man, you could probably, if you really, really focused on it, you could give yourself the same effects of like MDMA. Just sat on your ass if you really, really put the time in.
Yeah,
you know?
I definitely understand what you're saying. If you can control like things like your parasympathetic nervous system, so that's like how it helps you release like adrenaline and, you know, it affects them
endorphins and that.
Yeah. So if you can learn to control that, which I don't know if you can, because it is meant to be.
You can, man. The first thing, I think, you need to still your mind. You can't do that until you're in the driver's seat of your mind. And most people are in the driver's seat, you know.
100%. But most people are reactive, aren't they? So they're not really thinking about what they're doing from day to day.
Yeah.
They're just
unconscious
reacting to situations. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, and you find that, I think like a lot of successful people are proactive, not reactive.
Yeah.
Most 90% of people are just reactive. They're just reacting to one situation to another throughout the day.
Yeah, and that's quite a scary way to live, you know, because you know it's going to be a bumpy ride, isn't it?
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Definitely.
Strap your seatbelt on.
I think one of the things that we need to talk about, like when we're talking about addiction, though, is when are we trying to cure it? I mean, like you were saying, there's not enough rehab centres, but is there enough education being put out there so people don't become addicted?
Well, I don't think.
And do you think that if it was decriminalised, you would be able to teach more about it more openly?
Yeah, I think we need to get rid of the criminal element of it, 100%. I think Portugal is definitely the way forward, the way that they've took things on. I definitely think that there also needs to be tools put in place from very young ages in order to achieve this state of consciousness that people are trying to get from alcohol, from drugs, because it can be achieved. You know, so your yogas, your kundalini yogas, your meditations, your etc., you know, to achieve this kind of consciousness. Because let's get it right, from the dawn of time, we have loved messing around with psychedelics, with drugs, with plants, with all sorts. It's ingrained in us. We love it. Do you know, human beings love it, let's be straight. So what I'm saying is, if we love it, that's never going to change, right? So we need to put healthy, positive things that can get us to achieve that level of consciousness without destroying ourselves. And that's why the spiritual element comes into it, and that's why we have to evolve sort of our energy levels and our consciousness in order to achieve this feeling, you know?
Now I know someone who does that kundalini yoga.
It's insane, bro.
It's like kundalini dancing as well or something, bro.
Yeah, it's like you can get it from like ecstatic dancing. Basically, what I realise is we're so robotic in everything we do 24/7, and like I even did it today, man. I did some ecstatic dancing in my bedroom. I was in the meditation. It was nice, and I was feeling the energy. I thought, you know what? I'm just gonna get up and like and just move my hands around crazy in like all different ways that I'd never move around. In the kind of way that if I did it in a club, I'd get sectioned. Do you know what I mean? I just wanted to do it, and literally, bro, there's a liberation that comes from just like coming out of that box. This invisible box that you put around yourself just to kind of be a functioning member of society. So I think the Kundalini is like really about like when you get yourself in a still position. I mean, I've achieved Kundalini myself, so I can talk about it, but I don't think I did it the way that they teach it. I just sort of found my own way of kind of igniting it. So it's like you get yourself in a still position, then you've got to bring a lot of emotion, powerful emotion, a lot of energy, and a lot of imagination. You know, you've really got to like focus on like love and kind of real like passion and like the beautifulest things you've ever seen, and really like conjure up this energy, and then you start like gyrating, bro, and you start like moving. It's almost like a feeling, you know. And bro, you're almost like a serpent, bro. You're like awakening this serpent that's coming from the spine. And you see Moses in the desert, and he's got the serpent wrapped around the stick. And basically that's the Kundalini energy, man, the serpent energy, bro. That was written about 5,000 years ago. And there's people awakening it now, bro, so we're in a real game, you know what I mean? And what I'm saying is, like, if people can just feel this Kundalini energy that comes right straight through the top chakra and down through the spine, honestly, man, one, you're going to know that there's way more going on in this life. Two, you're going to feel that ecstasy, that blissfulness, that is 10 times better than what you would get with recreational drugs without the come down, you know? So it's like, for me, man, like, with the addicts as well, like, they should be trying to get them doing Kundalini yoga and stuff, do you know what I mean? And get them, like, at the end of the day, like, you can't just take some sweets out of kids' hand and say, here's a lump of coal, deal with that for the rest of your life. Because that's basically what addicts are getting. It's like, how about, give me them sweets, and I'm going to give you a nice protein bar that's better for you, do you know what I mean? Like, something like that. And like, that's kind of with the addicts, it's like, give me that heroin, give me that crack, give me that cocaine. And here's this Kundalini yoga, or here's this ecstatic dance, or here's like CrossFit, or here's here's something to kind of like...
I suppose it's money though, isn't it? Really?
Yeah, but I mean, the meditation yoga is free, man.
But it's not, it might be free to you, but it's not free. So let's say NHS is trying to, you know, to prevent addiction, or they've got a group of addicts. They can either give them pills, which are probably a lot more expensive than doing yoga when you think about it.
Yeah, of course, man.
Yeah, but that's just because the pharmaceuticals charge that. But if yoga teachers, the NHS needed yoga teachers, the price of yoga is going up.
Yeah, but I mean, it would be free on the NHS, wouldn't it, for the for the obviously addicts and stuff.
So
yeah, I know obviously you have to pay them, but like...
But the NHS pay for them classes, isn't it?
Yeah.
But
I think it's positive.
I think it's definitely I think they should do it, because I think that at the moment everything is just medication.
Oh, it is. Pharmaceutical companies are literally like, don't get me wrong, they're raping people. There are not. Don't get me wrong. There's obviously some things that you take which definitely help you, but there's definitely some things that can be definitely done by faith and by exercise and by movement and belief, you know, and love, you know.
Yeah, definitely.
And it's like we're just trying to chuck a pill at everything, man.
Yeah, it is bad, to be fair.
I mean, America's got an epidemic. I'm not sure we're too far off on, you know, but it's yeah, they're holistic, man. That's the way we got to go with this stuff, man. Like, we got to kind of like preach that kind of like natural buzzing your tits off. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Not tablet buzzing your tits off.
Though.
It's
so
programmed
hard.
into us.
You know what it is? I think people are like genuinely scared to be happy. Well, not to be happy, but to let people know they're happy as well.
Bro, I love that you said that, yeah. And I've got a quote from the Bible that says, nobody puts a lamp underneath a table. They put it on top of the table so everyone can see it. Do you know what I mean? So when you're on fire, when your eyes are bursting with light, yeah, you got to be brave enough to get up on that table and shine for the world, you know. But I know what you're saying. Our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. It is our light, not our darkness, that most frightens us. And bro, I know that from 100%. That's what I was speaking about my old man, about the deservingness of reaching that pure light, that pure love, that kind of like ecstatic, unbelievable place, you know. We're almost like the society or like your group of friends and that a lot of the time can suppress you go into that really high level because they'll be like, oh, what's they so happy about?
Yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah.
There's like a bit of jealousy in there.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
This is what I was trying to say. Like, I think it's almost the kind of thing like people say. Because generally, when you are happy, you become more tolerant.
Yeah.
You become less aggressive. You become more, I don't want to say malleable, but you're definitely more open-minded when you're happy.
1,000,000,000%.
And I think a lot of people are scared of those things because society breeds it in. So it's kind of like happiness is a weakness.
Yeah. It's almost like it's cool to be unhappy.
Yeah, it's just like when you go out and you say,
cool to be negative.
Muggy. Everyone's like, I'm trying to look cool. Don't want to look too happy, like I'm having a good time.
Because they're not getting a fight.
Yeah, I just want to look like, like I can hold my own and...
Yeah, it's almost like that kind of like...
You're out, be happy, that was about with you.
Yeah, 100%. And to be fair, they got a little bit of a point, because a lot of the time, like, you know me, I'm like 100 mile an hour when I go out and that, and I'm like so loud and right, and bruv, I've been terrorised loads of times in clubs, do you know what I mean? I've been in loads of fights, man, from like being too much energy. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Not trying to harm people, not saying nothing bad, just being so...
No, but you're genuinely happy, but people take that as like a negative.
Yeah.
This is what I'm trying to say, man. Like, obviously, you can come with the right energy. You don't have to be like 100 mile an hour. But at the same point, when someone's just happy and unapologetically happy, they're not thinking about you, and I think that's what people don't like. They don't like when your life does not... Well, whatever they do in their life doesn't affect your life.
Yeah.
Any way, shape or form. So, I'm from the happiest man in the world and you're being mean mugging or doing what you're doing. You could do something. And if it doesn't affect me, for some reason...
You've lost your power.
That's what I think is. They feel like, I can't have power over these people.
Yeah, 100%, man.
So
there's a huge control element in the world, in society, you know, like it's almost like we want to dominate each other.
Yeah,
we want to control, you know what I mean? Like, you look at like some of the laws they're putting in now, and like America's real bad for it and that, and it's like hold on a minute, man, like I come in this world free, didn't I?
Yeah.
And then you start realising like I ain't really free. Do you know what I mean? And it's like when people tell you when it's going to be game over, bro, like big time and that, and I hope you don't come to it, when they try to start like affecting your consciousness. Do you know what I mean? When they start coming to the point.
They're already doing it.
Yeah, they're already doing it, but they're kind of subtly doing it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
but like when it gets to the point where it's like they can try to control the way you think and stuff like that.
They're already doing it. They can do it already. They've been doing it for. But what do you think of television is?
Yeah. What's deemed normal? What's not deemed normal? What's possible? What's not possible?
They've been telling you what you need to think since time started, bro.
Yeah.
Now they just got more sophisticated ways, like the introduction of AI, which is great because it's basically the same thing a TV does, but it does it in real time. Yeah. So your phone listens to you 24/7. I don't think that's conspiracy.
No, it does listen to you, man, 1,000,000%.
Do you know how I know it's not conspiracy? Because when you actually set your phone up, everyone will do this. They'll go, oh yeah, I've got Siri or... Now when you say, hey Google, your phone picks it up, or hey Siri, your phone picks it up, innit?
Yeah.
That means your phone must be listening to them two words.
Yeah.
Every second it's on.
Yeah.
Just to hear them, to pick it up. So that means that it's listening to all the other words. But what companies do now is they can buy that data. So you notice when you're listening to something and it comes up like on your phone or comes up something and you're like, right, because of the program, it's like you might see an advert, go home and your missus asks you, bear in mind you know nothing about tiling or nothing about plumbing or nothing about woodwork. If you've seen an advert 5 times throughout the day, you might not even stop to look at it. It's just flash passing in your eyesight of like a wood company. I bet you're going to mention that wood company to your wife. You're going to be like, oh, you know what, so and so. I don't even know where I know that
subconscious, isn't it?
Yeah, man, they do it all the time.
Yeah, it's mad. Like my old dear and that, like she's a pretty switched on bird and that. Like when Cambridge University and that, and like she's like Morgan the phone can hear what I'm saying, man. Like,
oh yeah, 100%.
Like, and she's like completely like normal, like sweet as a nut, and she's like it can. I'm like, you know what? Sometimes it's. This is my big worry, and this is totally like me going kind of out there, you know.
Yeah.
Right. So, you know they've got this 5G coming in.
Yes.
Right. Now, what I worry about, maybe it won't be with 5G, but maybe it was 6, 7, 8, whatever it is, that they're trying to link to our brains.
Oh yeah, I can.
They're trying to link the bandwidth. They've got a bandwidth at the moment. They've got a bandwidth problem. They can't really tap into the energy field that's going around by our brains. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I reckon that I wouldn't put it past them to try that. You know, to kind of have us all jacked into some hive mind AI sort of thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I agree.
And that's why we're all programming. We're all programming Google every single time we use the search engines. When we're on Instagram and Facebook and Twitter, we're all showing them what we like, what we don't like, everything like that. We're literally building a fucking AI god. But do you know what I mean? We're programming this fucking AI god.
100%. I agree.
Yeah.
I think like you could. It's kind of like thing though, innit? Because people can program people. We can program ourselves. Like that's what they're using. You know, things like cognitive behavioural therapy.
Yeah, Darren Brown, people like that do it.
Yeah. What Darren Brown's like, what they do is they find really malleable people, so people who are easy to influence, which generally are people who are kind of
fully in the matrix, innit? They're not unconscious.
I think it's people who love themselves. You know, people who've got that kind of narcissistic.
Yeah.
That kind of narcissistic tendency. They don't really question much because they just think what they know is what they know. They're kind of the people that I think are easy to.
Yeah, when they probably think they ain't.
Yeah, exactly, and they think they're not.
Yeah.
But there's a brilliant podcast, the Joe Rogan one with Darren Brown. I don't know if you've watched it.
I've watched probably 30 minutes of it.
Amazing, and he's talking about like just how easy it is to hypnotise people, because he says basically you're just tricking yourself. He says he does a trick where he bites into a onion or something, or he gets someone on stage, one of the audience, to bite into an onion but eat it like they love it, and it's an apple.
Okay.
And then he goes, but really, I can do that now. So he says, if I go to my mate, go to the fridge and there's an onion, I dare you to bite it. He'll bite it and he'll eat it. And because he'll know he's going to bite into an onion, his brain will be more ready to receive it like it's an apple. So he's almost half tricking his own brain. Whereas obviously if you just pick an onion up and bite into it thinking it's an apple, you're going to be like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? What the fuck is this like? So he says it's just like, I don't know, just the way he's playing it. Great podcast, man, how he talks about it and stuff. But he's saying like, yo, it's easy, like, it's just, I'm sure it's not that easy, but the way he explains
it. He's probably got a hypnotic energy about him as well, which can kind of influence people. But for me, man, it's like you only got to look at things like Black Friday, ain't you? And like people outside like shops and that, like at daft o'clock in the morning, it's like, what's going on, man? Like, it's crazy, people like fighting with each other outside the shop and that to get the quick deal.
Yeah.
It's madness, man.
It is, man. But then people are addicts because I think people who do that, it depends why you're doing it. A lot of them do it for investment. So a lot of them people do it I've never done anything like that, to be fair, because I'm really not that passionately bothered about stuff like that.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I'm not going to camp out somewhere to go and get something.
Yeah.
I'm more addicted to my bed and my pillow.
Yeah.
I'd rather do that. If it's there tomorrow, I'll be sweet. If it's not, oh well.
Yeah, that's it, man. I mean, obviously it's a sales pitch, and they always try to create scarcity as well.
Oh yeah,
as everyone there, do you know what I mean?
100%.
And people buy into that a lot, do you know what I mean? But yeah, it's It's a strange world we live in, man. There's like, I think, great, I mean, we're in an information age now, aren't we?
Yeah.
I mean, you can literally learn anything by a click of a finger.
Yeah.
You know, and that's a beautiful thing, I think. Also, what I do worry about, though, is obviously there's a lot of fake news out there.
Loads of fake news.
That's it. So, like, it's kind of like for every beautiful bit of information that's totally true, there's also someone completely chatting bollocks. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I think 100%. This is what one of the problems is as well, but I suppose it's why really you should kind of try and verify when you listen to something. You should try and do as much research on it as possible. You shouldn't always go with the headline, which a lot of people do. It's just a headline.
Or experience, man. That's the big one.
But this is what I mean. So when I say you should try and verify, I mean like, if you hear something, you can verify it. I don't mean just by going on the internet. I mean like, you know, when people talk about Muslims or talk about, you know, Palestine, like they've been there, or they're talking about Saudi, like they've been there. You've never been there?
Yeah,
Shut the fuck up.
It's a 1 billion%, yeah.
Yeah, bro, get on a plane, like, it's a small world.
That's it,
You want to talk.
If you want to have an opinion with it and that, you want to start getting all Donald Trump and that.
Oh, man, I was somewhere the other day, and there was this geezer blatantly a racist.
Yeah.
But
those ones.
They were like, you know, this was blatantly a racist.
But I'm not. I've got black mates and that. I've got Asian mates and that.
No, not racist, but I just think X, Y, Z, my mate, you're blatantly racist. But I said to like, but everyone's looking at me like I'm gonna be bothered that he's a racist. I'm like, man, I don't care what he thinks. Like, he can tell me because I find it interesting because I know he's got no basis for his argument. Do you know what I mean? So anything he says to me, like I know what I'm gonna say, I can back it up and say, well, X, Y, Z, but anything you're saying to me, you've actually got no basis other than the fact. All he's going on about is like, yeah, but you know, this is our country. Yeah. That's the only thing.
Little armchair warriors, isn't it?
Oh, mate, it's so funny though, but it's just kind of like, to me. But I said to him then, I said, mate, he's like, oh, no, I hope I'm not offending you. I said, you're not offending me at all, man. I said, because to be honest, anything you say.
Was he talking about the Brexit thing?
Yeah, it's talking about Brexit, bro. He's talking about a whole heap of nonsense.
Oh, yeah, he's going in.
Yeah. So, he was trying to go in, but I was just shooting him down, man. I was whack. Anything he said, man, he was throwing them trying to throw them curveballs at me. Yeah, mate, boom, see that top corner every time, man. I'm like, mate, come on.
Bex.
Come on, man. Stop being silly, man.
Yeah.
I just said to him, I said, nah. I said, you usually speak to a room full of people who just obviously don't know what they're talking about.
Yeah. And
you probably think you're super clever and that. And he was like, he was going, nah, what do you mean? I went, mate. I said, you said when I come in the room and everyone went, you're racist. You had like the biggest smile on your face because you thought it was going to bother me. And I said to you then, I said, mate, I said, sweet. I said, I like my racist because I know. I'd rather that, do you know what I mean? So, but he's going, nah, but I'm not racist. So I went, you are really.
Yeah. Deep down you are, man. You're gonna have to. And this is the thing, man. Like, he needs to delete that program and fucking build a new one. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But like, it's whether he can do that in his life.
Well, because at the end of the day, but the thing about it is, we're in a room full of like, I wasn't the only black person in the room, but I think when you're around certain people, they just kind of accept certain paradigms. So, he's a racist, but he's a cool geezer. No, you can't be both.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, you can't be both. Like, it's that simple. Like, you're not white, and you're not white, but you're talking to him. You know when you get... I know we've gone way off topic here.
It's cool, man. Let's go with it, bro. Let's go with it, man. I'm surfing on this, I am.
So, yeah. You got, like, people of colour in the room. And they're trying to agree. They're like... Not that they can't agree with you. They can agree with you if they don't agree with you. But I'm looking at you thinking, man, you're crazy, man. Yeah.
And he's having himself on toast as well.
Yeah, mate. Like, the geezer's got... Boy, when I say I'm not even joking, man. When I'm schooling this geezer, like, it's... I shouldn't even say this, man, because I could be talking shit.
Yeah.
But, from my feeling, and from other people in the room, he just had nowhere to go, man. He didn't like it, he left in the end.
Do you know what the thing...
I said to him as he left, man, it's a good talk, man. I said, because I genuinely like meeting people with different ideas. As long as you can have a conversation about it, you're not being irate or offensive.
Yeah, it'd be a boring world if we all thought the same, innit? But for me, like, we need to drive towards unity, you know?
100%.
1 billion %. That for me,
But this was what was starting on about like England, all this. And I was saying to him, we will never have unity because of people like you.
Yeah. But we still got to fight against people like that, you know what I mean?
Yeah, but this is what I'm saying. I'm saying to him, we won't have it because of
people like you. So like you're being the change in the world you want to see, because you're the one that's kind of stopping it, bro.
I said, you're so, like, held on to your flag.
Yeah, nationalism, man.
I'm English. I said, bro, you were lucky. You didn't come here by choice. Your mum slept with your dad. He could have been a German, she could have been Irish. Yeah. Don't care. You was born here, so you're saying you're English. Yeah. Their parents were probably foreigners. Foreigners.
It's insane, man. Like the nationalism thing, man. I'm sorry, I'm English, right? And I love England when they play in the World Cup football and I cheer on that. Different. But you know what, yeah, right? This nationalism bollocks needs to stop, man. Because I tell you what, yeah, right? We're like destroying other countries all for like the glory of the nation, and it's like it's psychotic behaviour.
Yeah,
it's like to actually like let's go and bomb like some fucking country in the Middle East and that because like we're doing it for the pride, we're doing it for our national borders. It's like it's psychotic behaviour, especially when there's not a massive threat. There's not a threat, mate. They're in a threat. Do you know what I mean? There's seriously ain't a threat. Well, it's just bollocks. It's all about oil and it's about like land and it's about all sorts of other things, you know, which we don't really know too much about. But this sort of stuff, this like nationalism, psycho, killing behaviour, is like people just jumping on a bandwagon of hate when like it don't need to be there, man.
Yeah, you know what? I'm gonna cut it there.
Yeah, cool.
Because that's a whole different conversation.
Yeah. Well, we're gonna do this on a sort of weekly basis, so I'm looking forward to it. And as thanks ever so much for the chat, bro. Bless up.